Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. About a month ago, I started getting ready for Thanksgiving by making the desserts and the side dishes and freezing them. I prepped an apple pie except for baking it, and I made and baked a pumpkin pie. I made 2 different kinds of sweet potatoes and put those in the freezer. I made a ton of mashed potatoes and divided that up into 2 or 3 freezer bags. And I also made a bunch of stuffing or dressing. All of this went into the freezer to help me out on Thanksgiving Day. I bought a beef tenderloin that was on sale for our Thanksgiving Day dinner, since we don't really care for turkey, and I made cranberry sauce the Monday before. So I was all prepared for our Thanksgiving meal, and then we had to change our plans and cancel our holiday due to illness. So here I am 10 days later, pulling our side dishes and desserts out of the freezer so that we can have our Thanksgiving meal with my daughter and her husband. And actually, I pulled the stuffing, the meat, and the potatoes out of the freezer the day before, and they've been sitting in the refrigerator thawing. Here are the pies, the pumpkin and the apple pie. And the pumpkin pie is completely baked, but I turned the oven onto 400 degrees Fahrenheit to get the apple pie started baking. I made and froze the crumb topping for the apple pie when I made it. And the weekend that we were ill, I made a cherry pie and used the crumb topping for that, or part of it. And so I went back and made some more the night before. And the good thing about freezing extra mashed potatoes and stuffing was that the weekend that we were ill, I could throw those into the oven, and we were able to have some good food without much effort, since neither one of us felt like cooking. So here I am adding the crumb topping to the frozen pie, and being very careful not to have it completely fall off of the pie. You need to kind of pat it all the way around it. And then I put it into the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. I had decided for Thanksgiving that I was going to take the help when I could get it. And so I was going to use canned gravy, beef gravy, and so I was getting the pot out for that so that it would be easy to find when I got home from church to put the gravy on. And I have the crock pot out for the mashed potatoes. After 15 minutes, I lowered the oven down to 350 degrees and then continued cooking the pie for another hour. However, when I pulled it out, the apples seemed to be done, but there was quite a bit of liquid in one corner of the pie. And I've done this before, and I don't remember that happening before. So I drained some of the liquid, and then I put the rest of the crumb topping on top of the pie and put it back in for about 10 to 15 more minutes at 350. The pumpkin pie was completely baked, and so it just needed to thaw. When I got home, I put the gravy in the pot and set it on the burner to warm. We had cooked the meat the week before and then put it in the freezer, so I just put it into a Pyrex dish there. My daughter brought some rolls, and they're proofing, and I put the stuffing and the sweet potatoes into the oven to bake. The mashed potatoes had been going a couple of hours on low in the crock pot, so I gave them a good stir. I baked the Brussels sprouts in the oven the night before, and so they're waiting to be warmed. I just had olive oil, salt and pepper, and a little bit of honey on them. I put out some dill pickles and sweet pickles and olives as an appetizer, and I had also made some deviled eggs. And I got out the cranberry sauce so I wouldn't forget that. I reheated the already cooked and thawed tenderloin in the microwave. And here is my plate full of delicious food all ready to eat. The mashed potatoes and stuffing really reheat beautifully after being frozen. The rolls are a prepared bread dough from Kroger that she put 2 in a muffin pan and let it proof, and then baked at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, and they were delicious. The brand of gravy that I used was very tasty, and I love it. Then, about an hour after we ate, it was time for a piece of pie. The apple pie was delicious and wasn't soggy at all. I opted this year to use prepared whipped cream instead of making fresh. I don't think that I'll do pumpkin pie this way again. It was good, but freezing it after it's baked changes the texture, and I just prefer it to be freshly baked when I have it for Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for joining us and for the support that you give my channel. We indeed are very grateful and blessed. Goodbye.